Well, hello everybody. This is Daniel with Daniel's Bullion Coins and with my sweet wife Ingrid here today.
Good morning.
Just like she said, we're going to do this on the fly. We do these in one take, and here it is, real.
Yes, I was running late this morning.
So we're going to get it done today. We're going to have fun. We have lots of stuff to tell you about. Lots happened this week.
Oh my, so let's start there.
Do the week in review first?
Let's do
Okay.
that.
So what's going on? Well, of course, everybody knows it's a breakout. It's a full out breakout on the gold and silver. And next week is going to be really crucial. Of course, I always say that it's really crucial, but next week, if this theme of nearly $1 a day continues and we break through 48 and we break through 50, the momentum is going to be, it's going to take another word besides breakout to describe where we're headed, because it's just astronomically climbing. We may next Tuesday have our highest ever close on silver for the quarter. So we're starting to see these high numbers in certain categories coming along. And the ratio is starting to go down. We have like 80-something% now instead of 100 on the gold to silver ratio. The market ratio to gold is starting to close, and we've talked a lot about that in our videos, that eventually they're going to come down and they're going to come to fair value, and they're going to be exactly the same. The Dow and the price of gold are going to be equal, and they're starting to inch towards each other. A lot of things are inching. When you're looking across, we're talking about all these different things that are inching and pointing towards the inevitable triple digit, which is really where we started these videos at, talking about triple digit silver, and that is very realistic now. We're starting to see it coming.
Yes.
With all the turmoil and everything that's going on.
And in the shop, what did we saw?
Yes, as far as the shop, absolutely insane, crazy buying and selling. We've had both, and we're just doing numbers that we just never thought imaginable. And even when we go and we're talking to our supplier, he's now telling us 2 weeks out on certain gold products. So we're starting to see the delays in shipment and availability. And so keep your eye out on the fact that supplies could actually start to dry up, because we're starting to see hints of that. Again, we're talking next week, we'll look at it again, but there's hints and whisperings and rumbles of certain products being sold out.
Yeah, not just that, but the next week they said there might be a government shutdown.
That's right, that's right. I think a lot of people, I don't know how powerful the Democrats are going to be, if they'll be able to pull a couple of Republicans off, or what they're going to do, but the Democrats need they need a government shutdown, because they started the Comey investigations.
Yes, he's indicted.
He was indicted. There's other ones that are starting to fall, and so they want to stop that investigation. And they want to get it to the next midterm and try to win the House and stop all these investigations. So what I'm saying is next week is crucial for the government shutdown. I think there's a high possibility, I don't know, 65-70% possibility that they shut down the government. And once they get it shut down, I think they'll keep it down for as long as they possibly can.
And that'll have an effect on gold and silver.
Huge effect on the price of gold and silver. Things are already cracking and rumbling. The banksters are losing their ability to manipulate the price. And so as that gets further and further away from their ability to manipulate it, it's going to start running faster and faster. That's which is what we said last week. It was going to run. The foot was on the accelerator for this week, and we have seen that. And that could be double time if the banksters lose control, which I think they are. And once we see that 48 and 50 that we're talking about, that means the banksters have lost control. And it's interesting, talking to people here at the shop. We have the people that come in and they're buyers. And then we have the sellers. Then we have the question people. The ones that, what's going on? What do you think? What should I do? Okay, maybe I better get my money out of my out of the market, and get into tangibles. And I tell them, they're like, oh, I'm making 2% or 3% or whatever. And then I ask them, I say, okay, what about the 10% inflation? That leaves you 8%. And they're like, well, what about the taxes? And I say, well, you have to do the math on your own. It's not for me to say. I'm just asking you, do the math. If you're making 2% and you're losing 8%, maybe the tax is 5% or 6%, you'd be better off to get out of the market right now. Just because of the inflation, it's offset by the taxes. But people have a very short
Right.
almost like a block in their
They
mind.
do.
The taxes, the taxes.
Yes.
But maybe you have to look at it yourself. Do your own math and consider what you would want to do on your own.
Exactly.
Not financial advice. We're just
That's
sitting here
right.
having fun and making you think, trying to
Yes.
educate you.
Is it okay to say, and I may have to cut this out, but is it okay to say that we have someone who bought a pretty significant amount
Yes.
of gold a few months back? Well, they've made now $10,000.
Yeah, just one purchase. And I did write down some numbers, so I have to use my cheat
Okay.
sheet here. That silver is up 7.3% this week. Gold is up 2.4% this week, and platinum is up 11.5% this week.
Really? So
yes.
it moved even more.
Yes, platinum, that's what's interesting. Platinum right now is at half the price of gold, below half the price of gold, and it has been at times double the price of gold.
For a long time.
Right. So let's look at it from a 6 weeks basis. Silver up 60%, gold up 44%.
Oh my goodness.
And platinum up 70%.
Whoa.
So these white metals are outperforming gold, even though everybody's
That's
buying
true.
gold. Gold's
Yeah.
44% in 6 weeks. Silver is 60%. Platinum 70%. So
goodness.
you can see that it's not just gold, and people are buying gold. That's
They
what
are.
everybody
That's what they're
wants.
fixated on.
They're
it seems.
fixated on gold, and that's fine. You know, they can put it in their pocket. It's easy to carry.
yeah.
It's discreet.
Compared to-
They can
yeah.
come in. They can buy it, put it in their purse,
Silver,
walk out.
you'd have to have a wagon.
Right. I've held 250,000 in my hand, no problem.
Oh, gold.
And
Yeah.
10,000 on a silver. I have to have a cart to carry it. It's getting pretty. When you're in your 60s, it gets pretty heavy.
Oh, honey.
So there you go.
Okay, well, my next question is, we had a comment on bars and how you were totally
yes.
off. And you said,
Yes. So we talked a little bit about bars, and I didn't quite go. I want to go a little bit more
Yeah,
in depth on
explain.
that this week. Try to explain it a little bit better. For example, it's an overrun. It's an overrun because these gold and silver companies like ours is a mom and pop shop. And the wholesaler that we go to is a mom and pop shop, very small, and it has to be that way because you can't trust employees. You're handling,
true.
money and extreme valuables, so it has to be a very, very small operation. And it is nationwide.
Yeah.
It's very, very small business, a very small
Right.
thing. And as gold and silver are expanding and going, well, these companies are getting overrun. We're getting overrun. We're both working today.
Yeah.
We both worked yesterday.
Yeah.
We've never had to do that before. And I go to my wholesaler and he's busy. The family members are all cousins, uncles,
Yeah.
even
They're all
girls
called in,
that
all
are
hands on deck.
boyfriends, girlfriends coming in. Yeah, all hands on deck. Well, the supplier, the melter,
Yeah.
and the ultimate end game wholesaler is getting overrun.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying about the bars is if you've got bars or you've got flatware or you've got things that you're thinking one day, I'm going to convert this into currency.
Right.
You better do it now because these places get overrun.
Yeah.
Last week I used the example of the fraud in China causing the tangible market to back up,
Right.
where the small dealers didn't have any cash. Well, another example is that the melters, they can only melt just so much per day. They only have a certain amount of equipment, and it's funny. It's the same problem with the farmers. We look at our small farm,
Right.
and we would love to grow the farm, but nobody's buying our stuff. Nobody
That's
buys our
right.
products, so we can't grow and expand the farm.
Yeah.
Well, as the need increases for local food, there's not going to be there because we've done away with the local farmers. There's no way
good,
that you can step up and train and get people going. It shows in other scenarios. When we had the cough a few years ago, everything went chaos. You couldn't get supplies, and they couldn't manufacture things. Same thing happens with gold and silver. They line up to get things. Even the banking, you're trying to deposit money, withdraw money, and that gets cumbersome. And in the 80s, they had to slow down and tell everybody we'll only pay you once or twice a week because they just couldn't, manpower-wise, cut a check every day to everybody that came in.
Wow.
So they just cut checks once a week.
So when people came in to sell to him, they said, you got to come back.
Got to come back, right. And that increased the spread on what they would pay because they had to charge more for the labor and the intensity. You know, a lot of
Right.
times when there's a hurricane or a flood or whatever, people complain about the price of a bottle of water going up. Well, it's because the infrastructure's not there to truck in all of this
Right. Or the
water or
roads
all
may not
these
be.
food.
Yeah.
Right, you got to take extra routes that take longer. The labor goes higher, and people get mad and they call it gouging. Well, it's not. It's because you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the system
Yeah.
in place to handle this huge influx of we need water, we need
Huge
blankets, the
need.
roads are
Yeah.
down. So I'm telling you to get into coins and to already have your food and your supplies in place, because if things go haywire, you're
Yeah.
going to need to be able to take care of yourself, because you're not going to be able to run to the grocery store or the refiner with your bars.
Right.
I hope all that makes sense.
Yeah, so if you have coins, you're more likely to be able to go to somewhere
Yes.
and purchase, especially the 90% silver.
Yes,
like you
we are real
said.
big fans of the 90%, the
Oh.
dimes, quarters, and halves. And that also, here's another plug for currency, is you don't have to come back to the coin dealer with your bars. Bars, you have to come back to the recycler and pay the recycler price. With dimes, quarters, and halves, you can go straight out and barter for food. If you've
Right.
got gold coins, you can go straight out and purchase a car or land or whatever. It's a two-party system, buyer, seller, and then the currency, which has got to be in a coin form to give you authenticity, fungibility,
Right.
and
So
incremental.
if you have scrap gold or silver or a bar, even if you go to try to do that, the other person's not going to have the
No,
ability to test it to make
No.
sure, because we've seen a lot of fake bars come
Yes,
through.
yes, and we don't
Especially gold.
and we don't have the equipment to test. We had a guy come in this week. He had a 10-ounce bar
Of gold. Of
of
gold?
gold,
Yeah.
10-ounce car, and he was selling a car for $30,000, and of course this bar is worth nearly $40,000, and the guy's wanting to give him this 10-ounce bar for the car, and he wanted me to authenticate it. There's no way. I don't have the
10
equipment for
ounce.
that.
Yeah,
That's a
that
15
requires a huge.
huge piece of x-raying equipment. No, we can't do that.
Right.
So get out of these bars and stay away from 10-ounce bars,
Oh.
especially.
Yeah.
You can't have commerce with those. And
No.
commerce is an important thing. You look back in history, like I always use World War II as an example. We were using the copper for bullets, and we still needed commerce. So we made steel pennies
Yeah.
to keep the system going, to keep the economy going. You have to have currency.
Yes. Interesting.
Good stuff.
Wowee, darling.
Anything else for this week?
I think.
Well, we'll cut it short then.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. We are running and so busy.
It's
We're just so
crazy.
busy. Crazy busy. And we've got a busy day planned today, and probably going to have to work tomorrow, and Monday's going to be busy.
I hope we don't have to work tomorrow.
But come back and see us. Bless everybody.
Blessings, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.